Hello, Cleveland. This is Alex Hoffman from the Too Much Effing Perspective podcast, and I am here with my co-host, Alan Keller.
Hey ho.
It is the week of the release of Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues, the feature film. And Alan, being the LA VIP that he is, actually got to go see Spinal Tap in the studio last night on the Jimmy Kimmel show.
Yes, I think it's called Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Thank you. Jimmy Kimmel Live. Let's be accurate in what we're saying here. And Jimmy was really fired up to have Spinal Tap on.
Please welcome filmmaker Marty DeBurgi, David St. Hubbins, Nigel Tufnell, and Derek Smalls, a.k.a. Spinal.
The show airs much later than I am actually up at my age, but I had it on the DVR and I watched it like at 6:30 this morning, actually. So
I don't think anyone says DVR anymore.
what do they say?
I don't even know. You have a crank on your TV or something? I don't know what's going on. I want to just say something. So first of all, I want to shout out to my friend Peter Folks, whose wife Nancy is a producer on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and she made this all happen. I got in and we were treated very deluxely, VIP-ishly, not totally VIP because there's something called a green room where acts hang out before they go on the air. And normally we would have been able to do that, but this was such a special episode with Spinal Tap that they didn't have room in the green room for anybody else. And Spinal Tap actually took the whole show. They didn't have any other guests. And one more thing, I was just to give you some inside scoop, is that Jimmy Kimmel is a damn good dude. My friend was telling me what a nice guy he is to work for, like bends over backwards for his people. You know, he paid people out of his pocket during COVID so that they had an income when the show went down. I mean, he's just an extraordinary guy.
That's really great to hear. I haven't met Jimmy Kimmel myself. I mean, back in the old days, I was able to be on the set of the Arsenio Hall show and the Conan O'Brien show when it was first on the air and saw a little bit of how the magic works behind the scenes. But yeah, that's so cool that you got to go and so great of your friend to set you up. So let's
wait. One more thing, because you brought it up, which is so funny. Like, I haven't heard Arsenio Hall's name in decades, right? So Tierney Sutton, a former guest of the TMAP show and an incredibly accomplished jazz singer with multiple Grammy nominations. I was at Tierney Sutton's house and she said she was just at a show at a local restaurant and there were two celebrities there, Billie Eilish, believe it or not, and Arsenio Hall. And she said he was really nice too, which is not exactly what I've heard, but nice to hear as well.
That's great. So anyway, let's talk about your experience. And some of our listeners may be shocked to hear this, but this is the first time, to the best of my knowledge, that either of us has been in the room, the same physical space, with any member of Spinal Tap or the legendary director, Marty DeBurgi. So how'd that feel?
Well, you know, we've had CJ Vanston on the show, and CJ is part of the Spinal Tap band, and he actually played on Kimmel as well. So we have met one of them in a manner of speaking. But yes, it was pretty amazing to be feet away from Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, and Harry Shearer and Rob Reiner. It was really special. So we got into the studio, and you know, a studio is always smaller than you think.
Right.
When they shoot these shows, there might be 100, 200 maximum seats. So we got in there and they were playing the first movie on the screen.
You mean they're playing This Is Spinal Tap?
Yeah, and it's like, I don't want to see that again. And we take this for granted now, but every scene is funny and it just stacks on funny after funny after funny. You start watching and you're like, oh shit, they're going to stop it and interview them now because I want to watch the rest of the movie for the a million trillionth time.
Well, let me just say this, because I mentioned this to you and Gretchen, our producer, but I didn't say it on the show, which is I saw This Is Spinal Tap in a theater for the first time like 2 weeks ago. I saw it back in the VHS cassette era. I've seen it on streaming, probably saw it on DVD on a tour bus at some point, but had never seen it in the theater, full theatrical size, sound, and being in the presence of an audience that was laughing out loud at the scenes as well. So it's a different experience to do that with other people, other fans, compared to watching it in your family room. So that's cool they were doing that.
Yeah, and you know, you say we're nerdy about Spinal Tap. I don't think we're really nerdy about it. I think we love the movie. We don't know every detail and everything, but it is pretty cool that It just happens to be a great movie. I mean, there really is not one space that you're like, oh, they should cut that. No, it's just like funny after funny after funny. The performances are ridiculously authentic. When you see it with an audience, you're like, oh, that's why Ozzy Osbourne thought that was a real band, right? Because they really are absolutely real rockers, And so it was really fantastic. So, anyways, so they came on the show. Jimmy did his monologue and talked about them a little bit. And then they came on, and it was really funny. They riffed. It was interesting that the seating was Rob Reiner was on the far left, and then it was Michael McKean and Harry, and then Nigel was next to Jimmy. And
Nigel, aka Christopher Guest. Yeah.
Christopher Guest, right. And it was really fun. I thought Michael McKean was just at the top of his game. He was absolutely super sharp. And so was, I thought, Rob.
They were both sharp. And I was going to say, they made a good joke about the fact these are four 70-some-year-old guys that had to fit their butts on that one couch.
Oh, right.
It was a little bit of a tight squeeze. But
what did they say? They need another 8 inches.
And then I think David St. Helens says, who doesn't?
Right.
Exactly.
It was funny too. These guys are good dudes too. And we have a very traumatic situation in LA right now where ICE is showing up all over the place and hauling people off. And they made a joke about ICE. And I don't think Jimmy, who is also a very great Trump detractor.
Antagonist,
yes. I don't think he understood the joke about ICE that they made. I think he thought they were talking about ICE, the cold water. But yeah, it was just a special thing. They were, again, they were 20 feet away from me, and it was really great. There was a couple jokes. I wanted to write it down, but another thing is they actually make you take your phone and they give you this case, and you have to put your phone in this case and then basically button it. But the button doesn't open like when you buy clothes at the Gap, they have to take off that tag. It kind of had that same kind of thing where you couldn't even open it to see your phone. So I couldn't write down notes or anything or type anything because I wanted to remember some of the funnier jokes. But you watched it, Alex, and
well, I have a few of them here. And I will say I had that same experience when we had David Cross on the show. His folks graciously put me on the guest list for a performance here in Portland. And it was the same deal. Had to put your phone in an envelope, hand it to them, get it sealed up so that people couldn't be filming or taking photos or whatever. So, and I get it, certainly with a show like Jimmy Kimmel, because of course they don't want anything to get scooped from having recorded earlier in the day to when they broadcasted it at night. So anyway, here's a couple of things that struck me as being quite funny, especially as a recovering tour manager. So one thing they did in all bands, or certainly most bands, have as a part of their live concert contracts is the quote unquote rider, the kinds of things they want in the dressing room. And Van Halen legendarily required that whenever they played a concert that they had to have a bowl of M&Ms in the dressing room and all the brown M&Ms had to be removed, just to be obnoxious. So Spinal Tap's rider, as Jimmy Kimmel went through it with them, was 4 kinds of orange juice. So they had like what? Pulp free, extra pulp, all pulp.
All pulp.
Nothing but the pulp. Medicated Gold Bond powder. Trader Joe's ravioli with clams.
Which I don't think is a real product.
I think that's probably right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd have a full cache of it in your fridge. In homage to Van Halen, Chessmen butter cookies, but the Rooks only.
That was a good one.
I think they also said, as terms of appliances in the dressing room, they wanted both a humidifier and a dehumidifier.
Right.
They wanted a bottle of windshield washer fluid and a 12-pack, or maybe it was 12 packs of Dentine Ice chewing gum.
Yeah, that was very funny. There was also an amazing joke, and I wonder if you picked it up. Michael McKean said something about, was it bodily functions or something?
The one thing that he said that I thought was really funny about bodily functioning kind of writ large is he talked about circulation as blood circulation. And he said there are Esperanto library books that have better circulation than we do.
That was it. I'm so glad you got that because that was so fucking funny. And if anyone doesn't know what Esperanto is this manufactured language that basically incorporates a little bit of every language into one. I think it was kind of a hippie language that didn't go very far, but there's actually an amazing horror film starring William Shatner that is all in Esperanto, and it's actually a great movie. And
you're kidding.
No, I can't remember what it's called, but look it up. William Shatner Esperanto movie from the 60s.
Holy cow.
I'm so glad you got that joke because that's the joke that I was like, oh, I got to remember that, and I forgot it.
It's very clever. It's very clever. And it's just sort of like it shows the level of intelligence of these guys. I mean, you don't hear Esperanto in day-to-day conversation. Yeah, I think it was post-World War II effort to kind of create a common language, almost like the United Nations,
Yeah.
right? To create like commonality between people. But anyway, that's very funny. The other thing that I thought was kind of clever was he asked them about modern music that they'd like, and they mentioned Cardi B and Billie Eilish and Shania Twain and Josh Groban. And then Nigel said, and Josh Brolin.
Yes, that was very funny.
And then they also talked about their drummer, Dee Dee Crockett. And they said it's not Dee Dee in the Ramon sense, nor is it Crockett in the Davy sense.
That's right. That was a good one too. But anyways, yeah. So what happened was they did the interview. They didn't actually play on the same stage. There's another room where there's a stage and a very small room and there's monitors. So everyone in the audience walked over there and they played. And as Alex said, they had some special guests. Everyone has had a bass. So everyone was playing bass as Big Bottom is famously. I don't know if people don't know what's one of the funniest jokes about the song Big Bottom is that everyone plays bass. There's no guitar. And in the movie, Derek Smalls is playing a double neck bass, which is redundancy gone mad. And so everybody was playing bass. They had another female on who I don't know who that was. Dee Dee Crockett was playing drums. CJ Vanston, our friend, was playing keys. But then there was, Tiger Cat. Thundercat, who I really like. He's in a documentary I just saw. Oh, he's in the Yacht Rock documentary, and he's very charming. So he had a very fancy double neck bass. And so we will watch them play Big Bottom. It was really great to see them perform. I think Derek Smalls, aka Harry Shearer, actually took a seat for the entire song.
He did. Yeah, he was on a stool of some sort.
As he is 80 plus years old. But Mick Jagger wouldn't have taken a seat, so maybe Harry shouldn't have. But it was really fun. And then they kicked our asses out of there, and that was the whole thing.
Well, that's great. That is really special that you got to see that. And that's not your only Spinal Tap excursion this week. Talk about the premiere of the new film, Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. What are you doing this week for that as well?
Yes, I was taking my daily nap and I woke up and I got this email. They're selling tickets to the world premiere at Mann's Chinese Theater, which is on Hollywood Boulevard. Very, very, very famous venue from even old Hollywood days. And that's where the movie's going to premiere. And then afterwards, so it's on the 10th, tomorrow.
By the time you hear this, listeners, it'll be today.
Yes.
So,
right.
Yeah.
So we're on Tuesday. It's going to be tomorrow on Wednesday, September 10th. On the 12th, I believe it's opening in theaters all across the country.
That's right.
But this is a very special screening, and they're going to be there again. So I'm going to see them again live. They're going to do a Q&A after the movie. But I'm very psyched because they played a couple of the trailers, scenes that maybe you guys have seen. They're out there now. But it looks like it's going to be comparable to the first. I'm very excited to see it.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So this week on September 10th is the IMAX premiere that also includes a Q&A with Marty DeBurgi and the three band members, David St. Hubbins, Derek Smalls, and Nigel Tufnell. And we think that Alan's going to actually be in the room when that Q&A happens. Anybody else in IMAX theaters is going to see it streamed, probably live or something like that. And then they're going to show the film. So that's one night only on September 10th. And then, as Alan mentioned, on Friday, September 12th, is the nationwide theatrical release of Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. So if you're listening to this show, if you're hearing this episode, you are probably a Spinal Tap fan, and maybe we'll see you there.
Yeah, guys, and really go see the movie. I mean, when we started this podcast 150 years ago, there was absolutely no sign that they were going to be doing a sequel. So it's pretty amazing that we actually are getting to ride this wave of new popularity and this event, which we never would have anticipated them doing. I don't think they even anticipated at the time.
Check it out. And once you do, if you have thoughts that you want to share with us, please write to us at hello@tmepshow.com or on Instagram, DM us at tmepshow. We'd love to hear your comments, and maybe we'll share a few of them on a future episode. Take care. Go watch.
Let's boogie.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Too Much Effing Perspective is a Milwaukee Talkies original. Evergreen Podcast Network.